Hi folks, I thought you might join me in a cigar. It's a Ramon um, Alonso um, Havana. This is the second time I've tried to do this video and it's gone wrong, so I'm hoping this goes right. So unfortunately I've already lit the cigar. I mean, I did sort of show it being lit and talking about the first smoke and that kind of thing. But anyway, it's not a very big cigar. It's the first Havana cigar I've ever bought, not that I've ever smoked. One of the first ones that I had was from Simon, and that was an Upman cigar. And then one of the guys at the Cigar Club, Osman, he bought me a cigar, Havana, and I enjoyed that. But I'm normally a New World smoker. Now, unfortunately, this cigar, I don't know whether you'd be able to see it, but it's got a hole going down. It just a little way in, and that's causing a canoeing effect. It's something you find in some cigars, and clearly it's in this one as well. The reason I don't smoke Havanas is that I'm slightly, I don't know how you put it. I don't think they're worth the money. In England, cigars are very expensive, and Havanas are very expensive as well. So, I sort of think the New World cigars these days have a phenomenal range and a lot of different tastes and textures. That's a lighter I'm using, but it's unusual. It's a flat lighter. Let's see what I can. The flame is very thin and very flat, but it has a habit of not going out when I release the striker, so it goes through gas at quite a rate. The nice thing about this cigar is that it's not very strong, although I do like a nice strong cigar. So it's milder than I'm used to. It's got a nice soft taste, whereas some of the stronger cigars that I use, you can taste the leather, you can taste the wood, you can taste all those things, but my taste buds aren't as good as they should be, and so I'm not getting a lot of very definite tastes out of this. It's creamy, it's nice smoke, and I'm glad I got it. As I'm smoking this, I'll just let you know how things have been recently. I've been very lucky. 3 weeks ago, I think it is, or two or 3 weeks ago, I ended up in hospital, and it was touch and go whether I was going to come through. What happened was, in the morning, I said to Carolyn, "Don't think I'm going to go downtown today. I'm not feeling that well." And by lunchtime, Apparently I wasn't responding to Carolyn at all. She was trying to talk to me and got absolutely no response. Realised that it wasn't just that I wasn't hearing her, but that something was seriously wrong. Apparently I was sweating, so the sweat was just running off me, literally. So she rang the ambulance, and they came and apparently took one look at me, took my temperature, and said to Carolyn, right, we're off. We need to get him to hospital as soon as possible. There's something seriously wrong with him. We went under blues and twos at breakneck speed, apparently. Carolyn couldn't come because they couldn't get her wheelchair on, but they said she'd be able to ring later on. When I got to hospital, I was taken straight through to a high dependency accident and emergency unit, where the very, very seriously ill go. And I had about about 3 or 4 nurses and a doctor and his assistant and the ambulance men with me, although I don't remember much at all. The doctor tried to question me and sort of say, how are you and what happened, and I couldn't answer him. And he sort of said, look, don't worry, it's the illness. You've got nothing to worry about, we'll look after you. And I had 4 drips in my arms, 2 on each side. 2 were antibiotics. 1 was paracetamol to bring my temperature down, and 1 was a bag of water. And that's all I remember. But apparently they worked on me all night. Early in the morning, my temperature was down. My lungs were very crackly, but they expected that because they thought I had pneumonia, or rather diagnosed me as having pneumonia. I was taken to another area of the emergency department, the A&E, where they could just keep an eye on me until they could get me a bed on the ward. And I was taken up to the ward early in the morning. Not really aware of what was going on. I did wake up at one point and this older nurse was washing me. And unlike most times when I've been washed by a nurse in a bed, she did all my naughty bits as well. And I kept drifting in and out of sort of awareness. I was on oxygen, and gradually during the day my mind started to come back into focus and I was aware of things going on. The worst part of being on oxygen was that if I needed to urinate, I had to ask a nurse, ring the nurse, say, excuse me, I need to urinate. She said, I'll go get somebody. Then somebody would come and dismantle the oxygen at the main feed and clip it and attach it to a portable oxygen container. The trouble with that is by the time they'd done all this, it was too late. I'm an old man. I used to be able to hold it, but not as much these days. And that was very, very embarrassing. It happened later on in the morning, and I got out of bed. I thought, I'm not sort of mucking around, I'm going to stand by the bed. At that point, the guy who had been working on me all night came to see me, and I was urinating. I'd wet myself, so I said to him, I'm sorry, I've wet myself. And he sort of, oh, and disappeared. So I thought, right, that's him gone for the rest of the year. But he did come back, and he was saying, look, don't worry about it. You know, you're ill, you can't help it. But it really wasn't a pleasant experience, that bit. In the end, I got used to not calling the nurses. What I'd do is leap out of bed, detach the oxygen pipe myself, and then hold it with the container as if it was plugged in. And then I'd get to the toilet, and when I got to the toilet, I would then plug it into the oxygen container for on the way back. At least that way things went as they should. But that was the worst part of the hospital, I think. Once I was off oxygen, then I could come home. And I came home and gradually began to look after recover, and had to take it easy. And last night was the first night that I went to the Pipe Club, which is very good. Anyway, enough of that. Cigars. This is a very pleasant smoke. As I say, I normally smoke New World cigars because I find there's such a range of them, and the choice of different flavours, different strengths. My favourites are probably the Foundations. Well, they are the Foundation cigars. There's Charter Oak, which I like. There's the one with the dark wrapper. That's sort of reasonably strong. And they've also brought out one with I think it might be a Nicaraguan wrapper, but I'm not 100% sure. They've also brought out a cigar called Highclere Castle. And what they tried to do is read all the information on what people smoked in Victorian times in Highclere, and tried to make a cigar that possibly reflects those cigars. I say possibly because no one really can know, but it's certainly a very nice cigar. And the idea is that those are cigars that Churchill and the lords of them had smoked, and politicians and anybody who was anybody at Highclere. And at Highclere Castle they still have Churchill's cigar smoking chair that he used to sit in while he smoked. But having said that, I think there are more chairs that Churchill used to sit in to smoke his cigars than there are cigars in the world. But, you know, it's a bit like Queen Elizabeth slept here. But they're nice cigars, Foundation. I certainly like them. I haven't had a bad one yet. Not as regard taste goes. One, like everybody, sometimes your cigar suffers from not being wrapped right, or a problem like that. But not many of them. They've also got David cigar. They've got, which is about that big, but it's sort of a torpedo shape. At each end, it sort of goes down. Very nice smoke. They've got Tabernacle, which is a nice smoke, and What other ones have they got? I mean, they've got lots of cigars in the States, but not over here. Wise Man is one that's a nice box press cigar. Anyway, I'm not going to go on too long. I've been on for 15 minutes and you've got bored of me by now. So I should say goodbye. See you again soon. All the best.